What's up, everybody out there in YouTube? I don't know why I just tripped over that. What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? What the hell was that? I think I just had a stroke or something. Jeez. Hamster. Anyway, okay, so I wanted to do some lighthearted but with still Warhammer stuff. And so we're back to Major Kill on this one, guys. 10 of the silliest, goofiest moments in Warhammer 40k lore. Alright, so we're up to the grim derpness of the far future. Alright, so let's go.
Today we'll go over the 10 goofiest moments in Warhammer
Advertisement
40k
cut
lore,
out.
highlighting why they were so silly, and we can look at if it was actually genius writing or just pure retardation by the authors.
Both.
I also won't be including any of the moments from the top 10 funniest things video that I made, so if you think there is a super silly goofy moment not in this list, it's probably on that one. So yeah, watch it after this one.
Maybe I should check that one out sometime.
Let's
I don't
get
remember
into it. Most Warhammer 40k books are really good, well written, and do a decent job of following the continuity to the best of their abilities.
Bullshit!
Slip-ups do happen, but they are few and far between, so not a total travesty. However, some books, especially in the Horus Heresy series, are a little bit shit and contain a number of very goofy snippets of lore. One of these books is The Battle for the Abyss, arguably the least necessary book in the entire series that had literally zero impact on the setting, although I did enjoy it. It did, however, have a bit of a gold nugget goof moment. See, there was the Space Wolf captain who was a pretty cool guy, definitely a bit of a beast in combat who did have a few mental issues and may have murdered his entire squad in a bit of a silly moment. Dude! A cool bloke regardless. Now, the accidental murder of his Space Wolf brothers was a bit odd, but not the goof moment I want to discuss. It's common knowledge that Space Wolf canines are sharper than normal due to their gene seed and origins on Fenris. However, the writer said that the Space Wolf incisors were sharpened, not his canines. That's right, his front 4 teeth were apparently sharp as hell, giving him a rodent or beaver-like appearance.
Yeah,
now, I don't think the author wanted a badass Space Wolf captain to look like Alvin the Chipmunk, but it is very goofy that a very articulate and intelligent
Hey, you ever get bit by a chipmunk or a gopher or something? That mofo's
to be fair,
hurt.
humans have sharpened their incisors and other frontal teeth in the past,
Dude.
making them look like sharks. However, I don't think Space Wolves have ever been written or portrayed as such, so we are going to list this one as a bit of a goof. Speaking of the Horus Heresy, unlike funnier 40k books such as The Infinite and the Divine, or literally any Kane book ever, it is very serious overall. Speaking of betrayal and vengeance, however, there was one scene that was supposed to be pivotal and important that gets made super goofy by Magnus the Red needing to be as dramatic as possible.
Oh god.
Basically, Lorga has called Magnus the Cultist to ask him questions about the warp and the gods within it. This is all pre-heresy. Magnus was disgusted with how zealous and intense Lorgar was being, telling him that these gods weren't real, and if Lorgar kept being a fanatic, then he would eventually be purged. Lorgar begs Magnus to be his guide, but Magnus has had enough. Lorgar had officially become cringe, so the Crimson King leaves, doing so by calling for a high-powered teleportation beam to cut through the roof of the tower they were in, blowing it apart and shooting debris around the populated city beneath them. The word bearers sound the alarm, thinking their Primark and Magnus had just been victims of a terrorist attack or something, only for them to find Lorgar chilling in a completely blown-out room. Just imagine it and try not to laugh.
That is just stupid!
Heartbreaking conversation, and then kablam! Fucking teleporting beam nukes the room for no reason, other than Magnus not being able to be bothered to walk out of the tower or call a Thunderhawk to pick him up. Whenever someone argues against the Primarchs all being a bunch of drama queens, tell them about this.
Exactly.
A very goofy moment. With how insane and over-the-top 40k can be, it's always very funny and very goofy when the legendary Primarchs have to do super mundane stuff and genuinely struggle with it. Something as simple as using a pencil is a massive challenge for the Primarchs, especially when they're in their war gear, with Guilliman once cursing and declaring that pencils were his true arch-nemesis, a joke that his Ultramarines didn't quite get straight away. However, the goofiest and actually most hilarious task Primarchs struggle with is using gene-locked authority devices. As Primarchs are often covered head to toe in thick armor, with the only thing they can easily remove being their helmets, scanning their fingerprint on things, especially mid-war or battle, is just not an option.
Well, there you go.
This makes life a bit difficult, as a Primarch definitely needs biometric security on numerous important things. Hence, they have to go down a different route. Guilliman will kiss a gene scanner. Conrad will lick it. I assume Fulgrim would lick it as well. I spit on it. Basically makes what should be a pretty mundane fingerprint scan turn into a very unhygienic, awkward, and goofy act. The next one is a bit of a two-in-one, and is all about the goofiness of Skitari. The Skitari Vanguard are some of the Mechanicus' elite, however they have a pretty fatal flaw that makes them extremely goofy. That being that their energy packs are constantly leaking deadly radiation, meaning to even approach a Skitari Vanguard is to instantly get cancer. This sounds a bit grimdark until you realize the silliness of a Skitari Vanguard force flying down to protect an Imperial city, only for them to repel the invaders, however also give half the city terminal cancer. They too are also slowly dying, but without the pain receptors or any fucks to give, they aren't too bothered by it. Fortunately, the Mechanicus usually only deploys these guys on worlds that are already fucked, but not always. However, the part 2 of Goofy Skitari is even better.
Oh,
the
God.
Mechanicus has a device called an Iron Strider, basically a mountable mechanical emu, which isn't that crazy in itself. However, it's the behind the scenes of the Iron Striders that makes me laugh. Basically, their inventor was a massive fucking asshole. He was such a spiteful dick that he never shared any of his inventions with anyone and made all of his devices extremely difficult to turn on. However, he did lose a few Iron Striders onto Mars as a joke. When he died, his rivals burnt his labs and schematics due to their hatred of him. However, they quickly realized their mistake when they saw how good the Iron Striders were. The dead arsehole had managed to make the Iron Striders so fuel efficient that as long as they were in motion, they would never run out of energy. The issue is that because they burnt his schematics, as well as the fact that no one other than the dead tech priest knew how to turn them on, means that the Martian forces with Iron Striders will literally put them into oversized hamster wheels, or let them run around in circles when they're off duty, because they're just too scared to turn them off. This also makes mounting Iron Striders very difficult, with Skitari having to leap onto them from a ledge and wrangle them to their will. These machines are so well made that the only real mechanical failure they ever get is when the inbuilt servitor, who is basically the brain of the machine, dies. This will make the Iron Strider go into full sprint mode in a single direction, regardless of what is in its way. Hence, tech priests will need to try and chase it down on jet bikes or faster Iron Striders and attempt to swap out the dead servitor with a new living one while zooming at hundreds of kilometers an hour. It's just so funny how such an advanced machine requires the absolute most primitive technologies to be able to use. The inventor of the Iron Strider could have just had a simple off and on button, or a failsafe for when the servitor dies, but no, he decided to be a massive dick about it instead. Orcs cannot grow hair. It's just not within their genetic code to be able to do so. So then how come some orcs have hair? Well, it's not actually theirs. It's actually a special hair squig that they grab and then stick to their head or face. So the next time you see an orc with a top knot, remember that you're actually facing against two separate beings. Astartes' Terminator plate is some of the most powerful armor in the entire setting. Anyone wearing it is considered to be a one-man army, capable of holding the line against nearly any foe and even bodying entire space marines.
But when you have a whole A10 Warhog attached to your arm,
heavy and not very mobile. As a result of this, occasionally the members of the Dark Angel's first company, the Deathwing, the ones who fight and kill the greatest horrors in the galaxy and have saved countless lives, tried to walk on wooden staircase before it completely buckled and collapsed beneath them, getting them all stuck as they were too heavy and immobile to move. It gets better. There is actually a detachment of Dark Angel servants whose entire purpose is to come pick these Terminator elite up with a crane, insinuating that it happens somewhat regularly. As the Deathwing were getting picked up off their arms, their fellow Dark Angel brothers were laughing at them. Overall, just a fun, goofy moment that shows even the most hardcore Space Marines aren't immune to looking like a goose. The Kroot are quite a horrifying xeno species. They consume their enemies and use their DNA to adapt and improve. There have been pretty horrible snippets in the lore of a Kroot ambush, where an Eldar Ranger has to watch her sister get torn to shreds before she too was violently consumed. However, there is a goofy side to the Kroot. They were once able to ambush and kill some Catachans, those Rambo-looking motherfuckers, with the intent of eating them and growing in strength. However, an unexpected side effect was that the Kroot that ate them started wearing red bandanas and begun rejecting authority, implying that the Catachan's love of red bandanas isn't a cultural thing, but ingrained in their very DNA, along with the grief they give their commanders. The Tau actually requested the Kroot stop eating the Catachans as it made them extremely obnoxious allies. The next bit of goof is lighthearted and I really enjoy it. The Emperor's Spears Space Marine chapter has a unique approach to honouring their dead. Basically, they will have beautiful statues created on their tombs, with the engraving being a short joke about the Marine and how they died. For example, one of them says, "Here lies Davath, who was told to advance with caution and keep his head down. He was a warrior to sail the stars with. but it must be said, when he died, the Arakani didn't lose a great thinker. Rest well, you stubborn bastard. And
Dude.
under it was the Marine's helmet, which had a massive hole in it. The others were similar, stuff
bad.
like the last thing that went through Brother Ralef's head, other than a Tau railgun, was that he should probably duck. And so on. It's actually quite wholesome and a very good way to deal with death in a setting where
If
it is
you're gonna riff
literally
you when you
everywhere
die,
and happening
man.
to
You
everyone.
can't defend yourself.
Just because something is silly or goofy doesn't mean it isn't good lore. In a similar vein to that, people often forget that Space Marines are taken as child soldiers, hence don't really develop as normal people. They are super mature in terms of duty and intellect, but they don't develop much in other ways, hence it's also fun and goofy to see them doing childish stuff, such as when the Mournival, the elite advisors to Horus before the heresy, would try jump and smack overhanging pipes or signs as they walked past, often in competition with each other. This type of
that's a
friendly
very
goofy
teenage
competition
thing.
and banter is present throughout most Space Marine books, helping to humanize what is otherwise a bunch of living weapons without going overboard and trying to make them hard to distinguish from us. Goofy is a usually pretty wholesome word.
That's a good
and
one.
I'm glad
I like
it's something
that.
that exists within the grim darkness of the 42nd millennium.
Okay. So that's it. And then he's just shilling his Patreon where he sells his Warhammer Schmentai. Anyway, so those are pretty good. I thought they were things that were intentionally goofy, but no, they were like consequently goofy. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was pretty interesting. I did. Like this video, subscribe guys. Don't forget to check out my shorts channel and my game channel. Link to those in the description. And also don't forget to click on the link to the original in the description, and like and subscribe over at Major Kill's channel. I will see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.